Wearing the mask may be inconvenient, but I think it's really important.
Right now at 6, sharing his message. A man who battled COVID-19 is talking about the virus and the concerns that he still has. Good evening, I'm Alexis Walters.
And I'm Dave Sess. Since the beginning of the pandemic, First News has shared stories about people who have died from the virus and those who have recovered. Remember, I shared one about a pastor who spent 100 days in the hospital, and he's back in the pulpit now. Well, tonight, the story of another survivor who was hospitalized, and I asked him about how he views the virus now.
All righty, it is 13:50.
Steve Garofalo is back on his feet after a fight with the coronavirus. He won, but still hasn't knocked it out and continues recovering.
It's been a little slower than I would like. I was hoping that I might have been a little farther along.
Garofalo's fight included a month in the hospital and being hooked up to a ventilator. His wife and children would get 4 a.m. calls with updates on his condition. They've all had symptoms. His father died from the virus. Steve is still watching COVID-19 as it lingers.
I guess I understand where people are tired of either hearing about this or thinking that they can't get it, but it's still out there.
Garofalo is back to work making the best pizzas in town, just shorter shifts. His grandparents started Mary's Pizza in 1961.
Feeling much better, yeah.
Steve's customers care about his health. I asked him if any have been concerned they might catch the coronavirus.
I've kind of heard a few things about that. Overall, when we reopened the doors, we've never been busier.
Pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more pizza. Steve's happy to be back on his feet and satisfying people's hunger. He's still watching the virus, still worried about his family, and still doing the right things to keep it away.
I suppose what they're telling us is what we should be doing. I wish I had the right answer for that, but right now we're just wearing the mask and washing our hands and trying to stay socially distant.
When Steve caught the coronavirus, it was so new, the nurse asked if he wanted his wife in the room with him. Steve said, "Is that allowed?" The nurse had to go check, and that's right about the time hospitals would only admit patients and not let families in.